You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Are you feeling lucky?
Try this again. We are back. This is Feeling Lucky presented by Hops News, episode 11. How are you guys doing?
Doing good,
Doing
man.
great.
Good.
How are
to
you?
hear it. Hanging in there. We have an awesome guest. We're going to cut to him right away because he gave us a half hour. But yeah, we have Russ on from Lakefront Brewery. And do you guys have a favorite lakefront beer, a favorite lakefront story, anything we can give real quick before we shoot to the interview?
I think my favorite lakefront beer is definitely River West Stein. If you have not had it, it's an awesome beer. Here's what the label looks like. It's just amber lager. It's definitely my favorite beer that they make.
For me, I really love their seasonal pumpkin beer. That
Basic.
thing is so good.
He also
We had that,
loves
we
Uggs
had
boots
that-
and North Face jackets.
Yeah.
We had that a couple episodes ago, right? The
Yeah.
pumpkin lager. We had the pumpkin lager in the Oktoberfest.
Yeah. The Bad Boy's great. That's
Yep.
for sure. Favorite
Yeah, so-
memory has just got to be like going there for tours. Their tours are always hilarious.
Yes.
Anytime I take someone from out of town there, always have a blast. I've gotten way too drunk in that tap room, allegedly one too many times.
Allegedly.
But,
Allegedly.
I'm willing to do it again.
Whatever, man.
It's a good time.
YOLO. Super awesome interview. Like I said, he stayed around for a half hour, which is so crazy. One of our favorite breweries. The President stuck around for that long, so we're going to cut to that right about now. We are back. This is episode 11, I believe, of Feeling Lucky.
Cheers.
Right? Episode 11. Cheers. We have a guest that I am so incredibly excited to have on. We'll cheers right away and ask what everybody's sipping on, but I imagine we all have something a little similar. I've got the Lakefront Oktoberfest, just because I'm a
Alright.
little seasonal. And, our guest, Russ, are you the founder of Lakefront, the president of Lakefront? What's your official title?
Current president, founded with my brother
Nice.
back in '87, and a third partner, Carson Prafke, back then. But right now, I'm the sole owner. My brother still works there, and we're still plugging away after almost 33 years.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
33 years, and you've been one of my favorites, maybe my favorite Milwaukee brewery for, I guess, how old? 4 years. I've turned 21 4 years ago, so yeah. maybe
definitely a
maybe a
staple.
little more than that. Maybe a little more than
All
that.
right.
What do you
I
guys
think
sipping on?
Lakefront is in my holy trinity of Wisconsin-based breweries. We've got Lakefront, MKE, and then probably New Glarus. That's the holy trinity for me, boys.
For Wisconsin? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do a Holy Trinity, you should do a Mount Rushmore, right? You
Yeah,
might as
right.
well throw one more in there.
Got to get a fourth
Yeah.
one on there.
Yeah,
I guess it's got to be
So,
Leinenkugel's if you get the fourth one.
Leinenkugels,
Oh, I
maybe.
didn't
I mean,
even think of
Leinenkugel's so big.
Leinenkugels.
But that's completely different. We're talking about Lakefront. That's what matters right now.
That is
Um,
all that matters. This is like, so my first question for you, Russ, is where do we go as a podcast from here? As a Wisconsin-based craft beer podcast, where do we go? Because as soon as we started this, you were everybody's white whale, it seemed like. We wanted to get you on, and
Yeah, this is our peak. This
now
is
we're
definitely
here.
our peak. It's
11
all downhill.
episodes in. So what do we do next?
I mean, in the podcast here, what we talk about, where's the next interview, or what?
I was just saying, where do we go from here as a podcast?
Where do you go from? Okay, well,
It's all
there's
downhill.
plenty of good beer. There's plenty of good people out there right now.
That's true. Very, very true. So what is everybody sipping on here? I assume, hopefully, all Lakefront.
Oh, absolutely. We got to have Lakefront. I got my favorite, the River West Stein.
All right.
The classic.
I'm probably the most basic one here, but I love this beer. I tried it probably when I got out of the Marine Corps a couple years ago, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it's one of my favorite Lakefront beers. JJ, what do you got?
I've got the Lakefront Premium Lager. It's my first time having this beer from Lakefront.
Nice.
So far,
Russ, what
so
about
was
you?
so
All
I
right.
was
Yeah, I got the East Side Dark. It's my favorite. I would say more of our brewers, after done with the shift, come up to the bar and grab an East Side Dark than any of our beers. It's one of the things I like to say is that if you can drink two and you want a third, it's a good beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's definitely true with the East Side Dark, or a lot of our other beers. We probably don't try to have them too much over the top. I know Luther, our head brewer's old, has like a German brewing background, and he doesn't like stuff out of balance. Germans don't like things out of balance, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of how we have our beer, flavorful, but not out of whack.
Makes
Nice.
sense for sure. So my little, I guess, story about Lakefront was when I was first getting into craft beer, I think everybody asks, like, when they go, they want to try something different when they go to a bar, but then they say like, oh, I don't want something too dark. I don't want something that's like dark. I just want, give me something light. And so the bartender, I forget, I don't think it wasn't at Lakefront. It was just a bar that had you guys on tap, but she said, well, do you want to try a River West? It's like, it's technically a dark, like it's dark in color, but it's not at all a dark beer. It's an amber, so it tastes a lot lighter, and I had never like tried anything like that. So I did, and that was my first. I say that it's probably my introduction into craft beer. So I appreciate you getting me into that, Russ.
For sure. No, it's good, flavorful beer. Like I say, it's Milwaukee. Milwaukee's, I think, almost number one selling craft, or it's also, it has to be the number one selling amber for sure.
Yep.
And it's a go-to staple, and that, to me, that's what beer is about. You want to have flavor, you want to enjoy it, but you don't want it. Like I say, you want to have a couple of them now and then.
Absolutely. So let's get to know you a little bit more, if you don't mind. So are you from the Milwaukee area? Did you grow up around here?
Yeah, I grew up in Brown Deer.
Okay.
Graduated
Nice.
from
Okay,
Brown Deer
yeah.
High School. Went off to college in Stevens Point in Eau Claire. Got a degree in chemistry in Eau Claire.
Nice.
Then I came back to Milwaukee. Started working at Johnson Controls in the battery division, making automotive batteries.
Mhm.
Got a traveling engineering job there, and went around to our 13 plants, and that was important because back in those days, craft beer was just starting,
Yeah.
and so I went and visited a lot of these places, basically on the dime of Johnson Controls, and I got to see some great old craft breweries along the way, and
That
then
probably makes the beer a little sweeter, right? The fact that it wasn't on your dime.
yeah, it wasn't. We come from humble beginnings here, so
Yep.
we had to do everything on a shoestring. And so when we started it with the different partners we had, we only put our own money in. We never had any other rich people or investors. And after we got going, we never really wanted to have any investors. So everything we built was on, from our own money. I've never, I've taken out loans, but never had a co-signer and a loan, and all the money we ever put into it was our own or my own.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
That's very
that's
impressive.
yeah. So I'm one of the few characters in the top 100 breweries in the nation that own 100% of the brewery and
Yeah,
don't have
that's
anybody
incredible.
else to answer to. So
That's awesome.
That's nice.
Very,
so
very
it
good.
is. I know. It's when I worked for Johnson Controls, I thought I never want to ever work for anybody again. So that's why I never took on any investors.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, I guess kind of piggybacking off that, can you just tell us the story of Lakefront, how it came from, I assume, a home brewing company to, the massive giant that you are today?
Yeah. Well, one thing is that we were able to catch the home brewing bug early. I guess the story goes is around 1981. My brother's birthday was coming up, and he was talking about making beer. So I went out and bought him a kit on how to make beer. Or no, I bought him a book on how to make beer. He went out and bought himself a kit, made a batch of homebrew, and I watched how he did it, and it looked like hell. You know, it was like everything. I remember this kitchen floor being about as sticky as possible, and I saw how he did it. It wasn't very sanitary, and he bottled it up about a month later, and when I tasted it, it wasn't that bad a beer. And I'm thinking, hell, if if he made it that good, I could do better being his brother. And
of course, the little sibling rivalry.
yeah. And so I started reading that book I gave him, and it was all this chemistry in there. I'm thinking, who understands this stuff? But I said, I can understand it. So I'm thinking I can make superior. So I started home brewing, he started home brewing, and we started entering a bunch of contests. Started winning a bunch of medals, and at the state fair was one. We started winning medals down at the in Denver, and it kind of went to our head. We should open up our own brewery. And so nobody back then wanted to invest in you around 1985 or so, or you didn't want to believe any of these characters that did. So we basically went out and bought a bunch of old used dairy equipment, found an old bakery building right down the street from my brother lived in River West, his old Pete's Bakery. So where they used to have the bakery, we put our old dairy tanks in and found a bunch of 55-gallon stainless steel drums, and we started brewing basically 55-gallon batches of beer, which was enough for 3 half barrels. So we do that like every Saturday. Found 4 taverns in River West to sell it to, and it started to sell. And ever since then, we've been adding a piece of equipment whenever we can afford it.
Gotcha.
Very, very nice. And it's paid off, obviously, in the long run.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I would like to think so, but yeah, we're still plugging away.
So I got a question for you. I've heard that Lakefront is credited for being one of the first or the first brewery for a fruit beer. Is that true?
We were one of the first. I don't know if we were the first or not. I know one brewery in California. Bell's also was early with a cherry stout or something.
Okay.
But I remember going to the government and giving them a formulation for cherry, and it was like they never heard of it before. But we brewed a cherry beer in 1988. So for that, pumpkin beer, we were the second one in the country to do a pumpkin beer. So that was, organic beer, gluten-free beer, indigenous beer, all those different things. We're, on the forefront of.
So how'd you think about putting fruit in beer?
How do we?
I'm sorry. How did you just think about putting fruit in beer? Like, what inspired that? Where you're just like, hey, like cherry would sound good.
Well, I remember reading an article from Charlie Papazian.
Okay.
And he wrote about cherry beer.
Okay.
And it was in a homebrew recipe from Zymergy, and I remember going drinking Liefemans. Back around the 80s, there was no really craft beer that you could buy in the stores, but there was a lot of imported beer. And so you could buy a lot of Belgians and other things back then that you really can't find now. That's one thing about the craft beer movement is it kind of put the kibosh on all the different styles of beer that you could find from Europe. But so we used to drink that, and I loved it. So I thought, why not try doing it? I remember driving up to Door County and getting a bunch of cherries and coming back and putting them in the fermenter, and it was crazy.
Nice. Yeah, Door County is definitely the place to go get cherries.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lucky. I think I interrupted you. What'd you have to say?
No, so just to follow off of that, another question that we had was you guys are one of the first breweries to make a gluten-free beer too. What was that inspired by?
By a phone call from a doctor from Houston that I got. He just called me up out of the blue, and he wants me to make a gluten-free beer. And he says, well, if you can make an organic beer, I know you can make a gluten-free beer.
Right.
And he starts going on and talking to me about how he's got this condition, and 1 out of every 500 people in the United States have it, and there's no beer for them to drink. And
tragic.
And so all of a sudden, the numbers in my head started going, well, that's a lot of beer if you could sell 1 out of every 500 people. Right. He started telling me he was one of the characters that got the weird meal on the airplane all the time, and so I never heard of this before. He told me, and then it was kind of strange because I asked him, like, why are you calling me from Houston? And he goes, well, I'm originally from Wisconsin. I was in Wisconsin a week ago visiting my family in Eden, Wisconsin, and they had one of your beers, and all of a sudden he said his name was Flood, and I went to college with a Tim Flood. Okay. And I said, well, from Eden. I said, well, I know a guy from Eden named Flood. And he goes, yeah, it's my nephew. And so it was kind of strange. All of a sudden, it was like, it's doo-doo. Yeah. And so I feel, well, maybe we should try to make a gluten-free beer. And then I kind of worked up the courage to go talk to my head brewer and say, hey, why don't we try to make a gluten-free beer without barley? Or, make a beer without that. And it's like, back in 2005, everybody thought you'd be crazy with this. No one ever did this. And I said, well, can we just try this? And he looks at me and goes, yeah, my dad's a celiac. I never drank a beer with him. I'd love to do this. And so he was very motivated to, it was Luther, to try to make a gluten-free beer. And his dad still comes this day and picks up gluten-free beer from us, from his son. And so, to me, I thought that was, a great story. And so he was very motivated to do it. I was behind him, and we worked with Breese Malting Company about getting syrups made for us. And that's how New Grist was born.
Very, very cool. I've had the gluten-free beer a couple times, and truthfully, there's not like much of a difference between regular beer. Like, you can't tell that it's gluten-free, in my opinion, anyway.
No, I think it's good. We have it at beer festivals. We won't tell people that it's gluten-free, right. and they'll come back for it. And after about the third or fourth time, you kind of look at them and say, oh, you're drinking a gluten-free beer there, and they're all of a sudden surprised. And I really kind of like it. It's a little twang in there from the sorghum that they get, but it's fun that all of a sudden they learn that they're actually making or drinking the gluten-free.
Yeah, very cool.
I definitely think it's one of the better gluten-free beers that I've had too. I probably only had like 3 or 4, but really the Lakefront is the only one that I've ordered a second time and a third. So it stands up to your test.
Yeah. Thank you. No, it is a good beer. It sells, it's always been one of the top in the country.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So this has been like kind of uncharted territory for everybody, this pandemic stuff. Me and JJ were in there I would, a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, maybe like a month and a half ago, somewhere in there.
And I've never been inside Lakefront when it's not just packed wall to wall. The tours and stuff are always sold out. How have you guys been able to cope with COVID and this crazy stuff that's happening?
Well, it is crazy. We try and do a bunch of pivoting and try to do what you can to keep everybody safe. Yep. We've been lucky, knock on wood, nobody's come down with anything yet. We've been doing our social distancing, wearing the masks. That's the most important part. But obviously, a lot of seats have been taken away from us. The summer's been good to us with the patio and the Riverwalk. We pushed that. Getting into the colder season right now, we've taken all the chairs we put in the back room, moved them to our warehouse. Yeah. And then now we put extra seats there. We're building huts out on the Riverwalk or greenhouses. And we'll rent out even Bernie Brewer's Chalet if you want to go and dine in there. And we'll have other things like movie night, and we're having trivia night now, and keg stand up, and drag queen bingo, all these other favorite things we're going to start doing during the week to help us keep us going. And hopefully the weekends we'll make a little bit of money. And you just have to constantly innovate, look at stuff, what you want, what you can do. You have to still continue to make great beer, come out with great beer flavors and tastes, and hopefully that you can continue to grow that way. It's just a tough time. The bars, you're 50% or less right now of the volume than we used to have, and so that's a big chunk out of our pockets, every brewer's pockets right now. So it's a tough market.
I like all the events that you mentioned, a couple of them, and my favorite is the keg stand-up. Me and JJ have dabbled in stand-up a little bit back in our day. Is that the biggest draw that you guys have right now, or what would you say the biggest is that you have going?
That is big. That sells out almost every time. Drag Queen Bingo sells out a lot. Trivia Night's been doing very well for us too.
Yep.
This trivia, we just have to hit a different demographic every time we do one of these. And we got movie night coming up in a month or in a week or so, and so we'll see how that one's going with Beetlejuice. But they're all good. We really can't do tours right now. I really haven't found a way to do it to be safe. But eventually hopefully we'll get there in the next several months, a few months.
So the brewery tours is something else that we wanted to touch on, because you guys have had the best Wisconsin brewery tour for how long now? I feel like it's been 10 years, something like that. Since as long as I've
since 1980.
Yeah, as long as I've been drinking, for sure they've had the best.
What do you think the key is to having the best brewery tour?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. When we first started our brewery, we had to get a zoning permit or zoning change, and one of the things the city of Milwaukee told us was, you can't do tours because we're in a residential neighborhood with our old bakery back on River West. And after a while, we just said, "Screw it, we're going to do it." And so we started doing them, and the place wasn't that big, and my brother used to have his line where our shortened tour was, you can drink it, you can drink it here and you can see it made there. And that was the tour. And so we filled up everybody's glass first, which was a great thing, because I gave a tour once in my life without giving beer first to people, and they didn't listen to you at all. But once you give people a beer, they'll listen to all your bad jokes and anything you wanted to say, and you just keep beer. And later in the tour, they start laughing more and more, no matter what you say. And it was just fun. So we kind of learned that you don't want to be a science teacher when you're doing a tour. You just want to try to be fun with it and jovial and move along. And throughout the years, we've had many great tour guides, and they've captured the essence of not being the science teacher. I get caught into that, being too technical sometimes when I give a tour. But anyway, that's the whole object of it. There's tours are very basic. You got to do two things. You got to entertain, and you got to give a lot of beer out. And if you do that, you're very successful with your tour.
Yeah, you guys are the king at both, for sure. I don't remember if JJ and producer Beef were on this tour, but one of my best friends from college, for his 21st birthday, he lives up in Green Bay, and he came to Milwaukee. And the one thing, everybody that comes to Milwaukee, I have to take them to Lakefront and do the brewery tour. And so I forget who the tour guide was. I want to say it was like mid 40s, maybe 50s-ish. But he asked if anybody was having a birthday. And so we were like pointing this guy out, like, here. And my friend went up, and the tour guide basically like held him in his arms or something like that, swayed back and forth and sang happy birthday to him. And I have never seen this guy's face so red. It was one of the funniest things. And then he kissed him on top of the head when he was done with it, and like said happy birthday and gave him an extra beer token or something like that. And it was so funny. It was something that we'll remember forever. So I think you guys really
remember that
job.
Brewery tour.
Yeah, I think that was number 3 or 4 of Lakefront for me, and I've done it. I can't even count how many times I've done it since. But it's just so funny. I think you guys do such a good job with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's I never really want to critique the guys or ladies out there, and they kind of always done their own thing. And one thing that we've never done either is write a script.
Right.
It's kind of funny. I mean, you go to so many brewery tours, and you can just see they're reading somebody's script or what they did, and it's like, that's the last thing you want to do. And so we were, so damn busy when we first started. We just say, just go do a tour, and after a while, everybody came up with their own jokes. Yeah. And like true comics, you never steal anything from anybody else, and everybody wanted to come up with their own material. And so that made it fun, because anytime anybody comes back, you get like a different tour.
I was going to say that. I've I've never had like the same experience on any tour. It's always been something different. So I really appreciate that about you guys.
Yeah. So we're not very, strict on anything or look at it, but that's the fun part of it. You don't want to go to a comedy club and hear the same material the second time. And so that's the same thing with our tours. And like I say, give some people some beer and you entertain them with a different shtick every time. And everybody loves coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want to go?
Do you want it, Nick, or you want me to take it?
No, you go.
All right, I was gonna say, so just because we're talking about the tours and everything, obviously we've been there a ton, and your tap room has tons of banners from awards hanging. So what are some of the highlights for you personally, and I guess what are you most proud of?
I mean, like I said, I won a lot of like GABF or World Beer Cup, but I'd have to say the European Beer Stars, the few that we've won from there, have touched my heart. We won Oktoberfest one time.
Yeah,
got a gold medal on that, and that was like, you go to Germany and you get that and award, and we also got a Pilsner award and the European Beer Star, and this is from the private breweries of Germany. A lot of Americans win European Beer Stars, but it's all for like IPAs, double IPAs, some hopped up thing, and other type of specialty beers, but you don't beat them too often in the lager categories, and when we went there and won that, that was the one that probably touched my heart. The East Side Dark I'm winning right now won a gold medal in a Schwarz beer in Germany. And this is judged by German brewmasters.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
that's impressive.
I didn't realize that. I knew that you guys had won a European Beer Star, but I guess I didn't realize how big of a thing that is. Obviously, Americans all we know is, or not all we know, but is the GABF. That's a really big deal, and you guys have done well in that too. So awesome. How do you feel about winning the best cheese curds in Wisconsin? Is it Wisconsin or Milwaukee?
Both or whatever, but to me, it's like getting the top Philly cheesesteak in Philly.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What else can you do and say? It's fabulous, the fact that we can get it, and our chef Kristen does a great job. She's got a great dipping sauce. I think that helps. We also got large curds. I think the batter they have is light and fluffy and isn't overdone, or you don't get a lot of it. Very stringy. We get them Clock Shadow Creamery, and so we take pride in these things, and to me it's very important, and so. It does touch my heart, when you get the best beer, you get the best cheese curd, you get the best fish fry, you get the best tour, you get the best place in the city to take somebody from out of state. To me, that's I don't take it for granted at all, and so we try working on these things all the time, and to me, I pinch myself all the time. Every time you go to work and you sit there, oh, we can do this, or something's not in place, and then all of a sudden you realize, look what you've done, and not too many people can say these things, and so I'm happy, but like I say, we're always striving for something, new and different, or better, or more efficient at our place.
Awesome.
Nice.
Very cool. Do you guys got anything left? Otherwise, we can get to wrapping up here.
Well,
I got one more.
Oh, hit it.
I just we love your beers, and a lot of my favorite beers come from Lakefront Brewery. Are there any upcoming beers that we should be excited for, or can you tell us?
Well, I did bring. Next one I was going to drink was the Hop Good here.
Oh,
and that's our My Turn series, a Vienna Lager. I think I had my fingers on top of it there. Vienna Lager Hop Good, that'll be decent. We got our cacao barrel aged, our bourbon barrel aged stout. We barreled that took it out of the barrels and put that in the tanks today.
Nice.
And so we'll be having that one coming out soon. So we have that. The proper porters are seasonal. We just bottled up that. You should be seeing that in the stores right after the Oktoberfest. On there, we're looking at a new IPA, the Juicify. That's going to be a juicy IPA, obviously, and That'll be coming. We're probably shooting at the end of November for that one. With a
All right.
lot of great hops in there, but that's very nice IPA. So that'll be the next year-round beer that we do. Do a lot of seasonals. Black Friday, one way or another, will occur. We haven't figured it out how we're going to do it. We got the beer, and we're going to sell it somewhere.
Awesome. Well, those all sound really good, and I can't wait
We
for
will
all
we
of
will
those.
be in line for that.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, we are always down.
Yeah.
All right.
We did miss a crucial intro question that we ask every guest, which is, how old were you when you had your first beer, and what was it?
I'm almost positive it was Schlitz because my
Hey.
grandfather worked for Schlitz. I
There
always
you
joke
go.
that he used to drive the street sweeper for Schlitz. He was also a chauffeur for the E-Lines, but he used to bring over a case of Schlitz at least once a month to my dad on there. And so I remember my dad always coming from home from work. In fact, he used to pour it in a glass that just looked like this, and so that's why I'm drinking out of this one.
Yeah.
But I remember I used to, 7 years old, to go up there and sneak some beer, and he'd pull it away from me if I was drinking too much. But yeah, I remember he'd come home, and after he opened that bottle, like all the troubles of the day went away, and he enjoyed his beer.
No, yeah, that's.
Nice.
I
It's
think
gotta
we
be
can all
Schlitz.
relate to that.
It's got to be Schlitz. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're growing up in
Schlitz.
Wisconsin, it's got to be Schlitz or PBR.
I was gonna say, I think my first was a Miller. I think mine was a Miller, but then second was like Old Milwaukee or something like that. Just like it went from. They're not that Miller's bad, but it went from like not great to a little bit worse. So I didn't get much back into beer until I got to college. So whatever, it is what it is. Well, I think that's all we have. This has been the fastest half hour probably of my life. Thank you so much for joining us, Russ. Do you have
sure.
do you have anything that you'd like to promote for Lakefront? We've gotten a lot of your events, the awesome events that you guys have coming up. We've talked about your beers. Anything else you want to promote? Where can we find you on social media and stuff like that?
I don't do much social media. I'm just Lakefront, Twitter, and stuff on that sort. All I gotta say is, support your local brewery during these times.
Absolutely.
We love it, but everybody needs it right now. Just not us. We're not going to miss it. It's one thing I learned in this industry. Just because somebody else joins doesn't mean that it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt us more if we lose a lot of people. So please look at that. I know some trends in craft beer or people are drinking are going away from different stuff or going away from craft, even though craft is going up. But I would say, support your local brewery out there right now. Give them the support and whatever you can. These winter months are going to be tough. Just please support the community.
No, thank you. That's so important. We love to hear that with Hops News. I feel like every brewer that we've had on has the same message. They want you to drink. It doesn't matter if you're drinking your stuff necessarily, but just support local and drink local. So I very much appreciate that. We very much appreciate having you on. And I think I answered my own question at the beginning. Where do we go from here? I want to come in once you guys are open and have a beer with you, Russ. Sit down and have one in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe see.
All right.
Do a tour.
We can do that. We can raise one.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Cheers.
Thank you so
That
much.
sounds
Cheers.
awesome.
Thank you so much for your time, Russ. Appreciate it.
Sure. Take care.
You too.
Good interview.
Hold on. We are all right. We are recording. Get off your phone, producer Beef. Jeez,
I have my script on here.
Louise.
I have my script on.
Like the story.
Only for business purposes only.
Yeah, some BPOs. Business purposes only. That was stupid.
I like that you abbreviated it just to tell us what the abbreviation meant. It wasn't very lucky.
Yeah, I want that 10 seconds of my life back.
Yeah, right.
10
Didn't regret
seconds
that
of my
one,
life
Ryan,
that
for
I
sure.
whatever. Fuck you guys. 10 seconds of my life that I do not want back was from that interview with Russ. That was like seriously so much fun.
That
I'm
was
gonna say it
awesome.
now. I want to pronounce Russ the beer father.
The beer father.
The beer father. I love
He
it.
really is. I didn't know they've been around for 33 years. That's so crazy. I mean, they're like literally one of the OG craft breweries. That's so cool.
Yeah, they pioneered so much in the industry. It was awesome getting to meet with him, and I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to catching that beer with him.
Yeah, very few times with Hops News have I been like starstruck, and it's weird to say starstruck because he's not like famous, obviously, but Lakefront, I consider Lakefront famous, like, and he fucking owns it. It's pretty cool. Pretty
It's pretty
cool.
wild.
So
Pretty
thank
good
you,
interview.
Russ.
No, that
Really
was an
good
awesome interview.
I
Shout out
really
to Russ
enjoyed
again
it.
for coming on. That was amazing.
Yep. But yeah, that's about it. Anything else on Russ? We can
He's
move
awesome.
on.
I love
I
it.
mean, I don't.
Big Russ fan. Big Russ fan.
Yeah.
I seriously,
I'm just gonna say it. Russ 2020. Let's go.
I don't know. Like,
I
I
would
don't
have put
know
that in our
how.
front yard.
Russ, just Russ with no like last name. We'll just put Russ.
Russ.
Just like it's just beef. It's just Russ. Just Russ for 2020.
All right.
Make America drunk again. Let's go.
Great, Mata. Make America drink again, maybe drunk again, drink again. It's pretty funny.
Love it.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. I don't know. I'm still like on cloud nine, kind of. That's like, I mean, seriously, it's so cool that we just talked to the owner of Lakefront. I do seriously. How long do you think we have to wait before we ask him to like go to Lakefront and interview him, or like
I'm
do a
gonna call
tour
him
with
tomorrow. So
him?
I'm not waiting the 3 days, guys.
Professional. Yeah, right.
What was so cool though is he was so casual about it. When JJ reached out to him,
Mhm.
JJ was like, "Hey, would you be interested in coming on our podcast? It's Milwaukee based." And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" It's just
Yeah,
like
I had
email them back like with the same day. It was like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." We're like,
I
"Oh
had
shit."
just do
three
it. We should
small
make up.
breweries tell me to suck it, and then like the biggest brewery in the area is within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah, I'd love to catch a beer with you guys.
Yeah. The one that we could absolutely like never actually help because he's so big, like Lakefront's so big, they don't need our publicity. He's just like, yeah, fuck
Yeah,
it,
we
I'll
need
come
his
on.
publicity, really.
Truthfully. Please share this, Russ.
Yeah,
Russ, my
right.
guy. No, but that was super cool. I was gonna say something, but I totally forgot.
Thanks, Nick.
Well, here I'll pick off where you left off. All right, Nick.
Yeah, thanks. I'm lucky
So,
on this show. Please, guys, come on.
the Lakers won.
Respect my authority. All right.
All right, the Lakers won the championship. Next topic.
Nice.
All right, next topic.
No, that's sweet. That's super cool. Congrats, guys. You're awesome. Next topic.
Let's talk about
Bill
Bill Burr
Burr.
fucking pissing people off on SNL.
So me and Beef, you weren't here, but me and JJ, did you see the stuff that happened with Morgan Wallen and SNL?
Yeah, dude, that's fucking bullshit.
So dumb. It's so stupid.
It's fucking bullshit, dude. Let the man party. For real.
Just let him make out with chicks. Who cares?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. It's Morgan fucking Wallen. Let him do what he wants.
Yeah.
You know, that's just
so he,
that's just fucking rock and roll, baby.
it's just, I
Don't hate the
mean,
player, hate the game.
what episode were we talking about? Like, we need a rock and roller that just fucks. Like, nobody does that anymore.
I want Morgan Wallen on here with the fucking pit vipers and the mullet and the fucking cut off like flannel tee or flannel
Yeah.
shirt. And just be like,
to be interrupted like 3 times so he can make out with chicks.
yeah, just,
Yeah,
oh, I gotta
right.
shotgun this beer, and then just grabs this random chick and starts making out with her.
That'd be
I would
great.
love that.
No, but so he was.
Morgan Wallen, if by any chance you're listening to this, come on an interview. We would love to have you on.
Love to have you.
That's
You
gonna
can
fall
make
on
out with as many chicks as you want. We won't.
Yeah, we
judge.
don't care. We don't judge.
You do it in person too.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'll do it. You can make out.
yeah.
with
You
them
can
on
make
top
out.
of
You
them.
can make out with all of us. I don't give a
Suck your
fuck.
dick, Morgan Wallen. Suck your dick right now.
I might not be
Trust
a hot
me.
21-year-old, but I'm a damn good 25-year-old.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's damn good. I'd say slightly above average.
Well, speak for yourself, there, Beef. I
Oh, hold
am
on.
well below.
I had a chick from Florida ask me if I was single, and she said I looked she said I looked better than decent. So
That's the best pickup line I've heard in a while.
I was gonna
You're
say
fucked.
I've never gotten a compliment even close to that good.
Yeah, right?
And just
All
like,
I have
oh
to
wow,
say is
yeah,
that you're grade A beef there.
Oh, yeah. That is grade A beef right there.
It's probably like
Everyone
double
wants-
B, honestly. It's not like grade A. It's like, isn't it double B's? Isn't that how the grading goes?
I don't know.
Better than decent? I don't know. When girls compliment me, they're just like, oh yeah, you were around. Like, oh.
Oh yeah, you're the
sweet.
guy with cum stains, right?
Moving on, Bill Burr, SNL. That
Bill
can't
Burr
be a
is-
joke. That can't be a joke that we keep on this podcast. My
What's going
God,
on the
I'm
sound-
the cum stain guy.
Yeah,
What
that's
was
going
that?
on the
Yeah, it's
soundboard.
the cum
for
stand
sure.
guy.
That is right. We should address that. So Hops News family bought us a soundboard, and my God, I'm so excited to get it. This is gonna be. I'm declaring it now. This is gonna be the last episode that we do via Skype. Maybe not the last one that we do via Skype, but the last one we do like where we don't have an official setup. Because the Hops News family, they're so awesome. Jay sent us a soundboard that I actually have right by me if you want me to grab it. But it's super cool. But yeah, we're gonna be a little more professional real soon here. Anyway, Bill Burr, SNL, beef. What do you got on the topic? Did you see it?
I didn't even watch it. You know,
Oh,
I
that's the only part I watched of SNL was that monologue.
got
The
pissed off.
only-
I got pissed off when Morgan Wall wasn't on there. I thought it was bullshit. So I love Bill Burr. I got nothing bad to say about him. I love that he just like pisses people off and he completely like went off on the whole woke culture. I saw like headlines and articles about it. But I didn't
That
actually
might
watch.
be one of the best jokes. I think he's.
Oh,
What was
yeah.
the joke?
He was talking about how like it was originally meant to like point out like inequalities, and then
Yeah.
like within like 8 seconds, like somehow all the white housewives of America like hop the fence of inequality and spearheaded the movement.
Yeah. He said
That's
something
awesome.
about like he's like I'm paraphrasing by far. So he said like it's crazy how oppressed they are without ever being enslaved or something like that. And it was like, damn, Bill, you just went. But it was really funny. I thought it was great. It's comedy. Like that's what the opening monologue is. It's like people are supposed to do stand up. They're the hosts, make people laugh, and that's
Yeah.
Bill Burr's type of stand up is just like
It's
out there
dark.
and supposed to offend people.
edgy,
Like that's what
yeah.
he tries to do, and like you're not going to cancel Bill Burr. They're trying to, but they're for sure not going to, and that's probably the best SNL has done in years.
I'm just surprised
Yeah.
he was on SNL, honestly. Like,
Hey, I'm amazed he got on for sure.
yeah. I mean, like, not that he's not big or anything. I just like he's
No.
the type of
He's
comedy he does. It doesn't fit NBC's
Right.
or SNL's agenda.
Yeah.
He's not like
exactly.
insanely like political. Everything is so political in SNL now. Did you
Right.
guys see? How did you think? Did we talk about Jim Carrey and Alec Baldwin?
Yes.
We
That was
did not
hilarious.
talk about it, but let's do
That
it.
was the Biden-Trump debate. They did the
Yeah.
Biden-Trump debate. I think that was like just last week, so it's not like super dated. I thought Jim Carrey was so spot on with Biden.
Well,
It
Alec-
was so funny.
Alec Baldwin does an amazing job with Trump too.
Oh yeah,
I watched.
But he's been doing Trump for forever.
I know, but I mean, shout out Alec Baldwin. You do an amazing Trump impression. But yeah, Jim Carrey, he nailed Joe Biden. It was hilarious.
It was super good.
If you haven't watched it, check it out. It's on YouTube, and it's it's pretty good.
I have not yet watched the Bill Burr. He did like a pumpkin beer commercial, or like that was one of the skits on SNL. It was like a Sam Adams pumpkin beer commercial, and I've heard it was like one of the funniest things that they did, and I just haven't watched it.
Check that out too.
But I'll have to do that. Anything else on Bill Burr?
Fucking hilarious.
I thought it was really good.
All right, you want to just jump into segments then?
Yeah.
All right,
Let's
guys. First up
JJ,
here.
we're not. We're just so you know.
Oh, that's right. It's total recording time, not.
Yeah.
I was like, holy
Oh.
Jesus, time is flying.
No. Yeah, we're not.
Anyway. Sorry, continue.
All right.
Producer Beef, hit us with the segments.
All right, gentlemen. First up, we have Dear Lucky. This comes from an anonymous listener. Thank you so much for submitting. If you had to blow a job interview in 30 seconds, what would you do? It's a hell of a question.
Producer Beef, if you were more witty, you would have said if you had to blow a job and then took a sip of beer and then continued with the question. I just thought of that reading it back. If you had to blow a job. Wait, hold on one second.
If you had a blow a job interview in 30 seconds, what would you do and why?
I'll let you guys go first because I have thought about this so many times. It's such a funny question to me, but you guys go.
JJ, you start. I don't have anything yet.
I think like
I'm gonna
I
grab
kinda just
another
want
beer
to
while you're
casually
talking.
stroll in, crack a lakefront beer, sit down, be like, all right, let's do this shit.
Dude, you have to have the biggest balls to do that, bro.
Mhm.
Like if you legit go into a job interview, the fuck in the world, and you just walk in like smoking a cig, you sit down, fucking crack open a beer, and you're like, "What's up, boss?" You know?
I feel like that could inadvertently get you like hired to an executive position, though.
Yeah, dude. Like, you should be like, "What are we interviewing you for this basic ass position for?" Like, you should be fucking management.
So you applied for intern, but our exec team has an opening.
Yeah, right.
Isn't there like a movie or a TV show or something where like the guy keeps fucking up or he keeps like trying to get fired, but the boss keeps promoting him?
Yes.
What is that?
Office
I
Space.
can't think of it.
That was Ted.
What?
So-
Yeah, it was Ted.
Yeah,
That's
it was
what
Ted.
It was.
The teddy
Like,
bear movie.
You know what? I like the.
But
cut of
didn't they
this
do
guy's
that in
jib.
Office Space too, where the guy just like stopped caring and then he like cut down his cubicle?
Yes, they did that in Office
Oh
Space
yeah,
too.
maybe yeah. That's pretty funny. Producer Beef, what would you do?
What would I do? That's a good question. I've never thought about this question before.
All right, I'll go. I have thought
Yeah,
about
thanks.
this so many times. Like, maybe not like specifically job interviews, but I have thought about it. Like, during job interviews, my mind is always just like racing. Like, what can I do to like ruin this? Like, ruin this? Because like I'm a pretty good interviewer. And like I just am thinking there, like, what if I just leaned across the desk and like kissed this person? Like,
Or just leaned across the desk and slapped him in the face.
no, that's the second thought or the first, depending on like. But like I think that all the time. Like when I'm walking down the street, like what if I just shock this guy in the face? Like, what would happen? Like,
Probably nothing. I thought of that
That's
before. Like, what would happen if you're just like walking, or like you're somewhere, you're at the store, and you just fucking drop everything, you punch someone in the face? Like, what do you think would happen?
Like it would just. I mean, it just. You can ruin your life so instantly just by like nowadays like kissing someone on the lips without them asking or like punching them in the face. Like I was one of
All is fair is love more.
I was talking to one of my ex-girlfriends and I think that's like maybe it's just me that thinks about it, but I thought it was like something that like guys in general thought about, and I was like, don't you just think about that sometimes? Like what would you do? And she was like, no, literally that thought has never crossed my mind. And that must be like a difference between guys and girls. Like I'm always thinking of like, how can I just ruin this moment? Like, how can I ruin my life right now? You can do it so quickly.
Yeah.
I think that's just a you thing.
I feel like you don't have to try though. Like,
you're telling me that thought has never crossed your mind. Like, what would happen if I just punched this person in the face?
Very seldomly do I think, what can I do to ruin my life right now?
Well, okay. Most of the girls you dated say differently.
Oh, I will drink to that, producer.
All right, well, I'm gonna go kill myself. I'll be back.
No, I am like I'm thinking about it right now. Like, what could I stream that would just ruin my life? And I can think, what could you guys say that could ruin your life right now? Can you think of anything? Just kidding.
I think
I was gonna say,
the
that
biggest.
sounds like a trap.
You can have some big dick energy and do your research and find out if your like interviewer has a daughter, and just show up with her daughter or his daughter or their daughter to the interview, like kiss her and be like, all right,
Oh
I gotta
God.
interview with this nutsack. I'll be right back.
The best is if you like you like wake up in her bed in the morning and then like walk down, like get ready for breakfast, and the dude that's gonna interview you later that day is like flipping pancakes.
That would be so funny.
What's up, boss?
That
I'll
would
see
be
you too.
absolutely hilarious. Like, what if you did the interview from like in the guy's house? This is so bad, Russ. I would never do this to you ever. I don't know if you have a daughter. God, I hope not. No, that
That thought didn't even cross his mind until right now.
hopefully he just stopped watching after his.
I'll tell you what, we'll make
Exhibit
you
A.
a deal, Russ. We'll just not apply for jobs at Lakefront.
Yeah, I promise you that will.
Exhibit A of how Lucky's trying to ruin his life again.
That's tough. But yeah, so I think about that all the time. If I were to, I think the quickest way, you could like walk in, and I think like nowadays you could say like, you could just sit down and be like, tell them who you're voting for, and it would probably ruin your chances of getting a job. No matter what the answer is.
Yeah.
It would for sure just be like, this is my political view, what are yours? Or that would be like at the end of the interview, and they're like, do you have any questions for me? Like, yeah, what are your guys' political views here?
That is, I don't know if I want to touch on that. That's territory I don't want to go into right now.
Nope.
But
Good call.
moving on. You guys want to do
is that a good
argument?
answer? I feel like I definitely like dominated that segment, but you guys, I can't believe you don't think about like how to ruin your life constantly.
Really? You can't believe that? Really?
I legitimately can't. I thought everybody did.
Homie, that's all you, dog.
You've never just been walking down the street and see a guy and like, what if I just throw him into the road?
No, most of my fantasies about harming people are like personal.
Or what?
Are personal. Where it's like, oh, like this teacher.
Like it has to be someone you know.
Well, it's like just someone that's like pissed me off. You know,
I
it's
used
some
to do
friend.
that I used to do that in school too. Like, what if I just like maybe I'm just a crazy person. That's all that's coming out here. I'm just like psychotic.
Well, yeah.
Like, okay. So maybe we should move on then.
No breaking news here.
Subject.
Right.
What's our argument?
All right,
No
gentlemen.
breaking news here.
All right, gentlemen. We have our bargument. If you had an aluminum baseball bat and you were in the middle of nowhere out in a field, how many 10-year-olds with bike helmets could you take out before they kill you?
This is such a great question.
Give me a number.
It sounded ridiculous the first time that we heard it. This is not an original question.
No,
But
this
it sounds dumber every time I hear it.
This is submitted from an anonymous viewer.
No, this is it's from Answer the Internet. I pull the arguments usually, and Answer the Internet, check it out. It's a game, a card game by Barstool Sports, and they have questions that we have all the time. We talk about them all the time. It's such a good question though. Like, so there's a couple things you got to address first. Like, is it like Royal Rumble style? Like they send them one at a time? Or is it like they send them in waves? Or is it like, what do you think it is?
I kind of like the more difficult waves. Like each wave gets harder and harder.
Are we
like
doing
Nazi
like
zombies?
Like Gears of War Horde, where it's just like you got to start building barricades and shit. And...
Like Nazi zombies. It's like Nazi.
Yeah, there's a 10-year-old bike helmet trying
it
to
just
rip
gets
boards off my
progressively
window.
harder.
Yeah, I'm trying to board out the window, trying to buy the mystery box ray gun.
Trying to get a ray gun. I mean, like, because the answer is if one single 10-year-old comes at me every like a Royal Rumble style, like every minute, every like 2 minutes or whatever, I'll just go on forever. I don't know, like until I collapse over and die, I will kill those 10-year-olds.
With just a baseball bat?
Just a base? They have nothing other than a bike helmet.
An aluminum baseball bat.
Yeah.
Okay, true.
I'm
just-
thinking, based on all the baseball I've played in my life, which truthfully is like less than probably 9 innings. I'm thinking I'll get bored after 2. Just
But,
let them
like-
kill me.
That's crazy.
are we
I would.
So are we doing this like Call of Duty zombie style, where you just like get waves, or are
How
they just
many
coming
do you
at you
think-
all at once?
How many do you think if it's like one at a time and you get like a minute before the next one comes? Because that in WWE, like a Royal Rumble works.
So
How
you
many
just
do you
get
think you can take out? You just
you
get
get a-
one at a time for like a minute. How many do you think until you like are done? It'd have to be like I honestly think it's for sure over 100, maybe like 1,000.
Oh yeah, I can go on like all fucking day.
Because like you take the bat, you like break their kneecaps and then just like bash them in the face or something.
Jesus.
Well,
You thought about this
You
before?
do that, that's like 3 swings. It's like 3 swings. No 10-year-old is gonna like stop me from doing that as long as I
You
have
also
the
gotta
energy.
think about like you're hitting a solid mass. It's not like just an easy swing. Like you're gonna feel that for sure. I don't know, the force of a 10-year-old's kneecap, but I can't imagine that it's can't imagine it's the same as hitting a softball there, Lucky.
I don't know, man. Like my youngest brother is 10 years old.
Lucky's just fantasizing about being his younger brother.
Lucky's
might be
family
a-
member, hide your 10-year-olds, make sure
Yeah.
they have more than a bike helmet.
Protect
But
your
like
kneecap.
him just
Remove all
coming
metal
after
bats
me.
from the area.
Him just coming after me. Dude weighs like 75 pounds. Like, there's no chance. I mean, it's just
So
literally
how far do
until
you
I
think you can just
collapse.
hit him? I mean, if you just nail him square in the chest and pop him up for an infield fly,
Right.
how
I mean,
far is that
that's
going?
Probably not as far as you think it
super
will.
Far, but that's like broken rib cage. He's not coming back from that.
No, he's on the ground.
You just got to
But
connect.
But I
him
also
in.
feel like if the goal is just survival, I feel like a 10-year-old really couldn't take a lot of like pain, and they're
No.
just gonna like cry and run away. So I
For
think
sure
it's just
not.
like a light tap, like 30% effort, like to the ribs, and they're just gonna run away.
This is just such a
Just have
funny
a field of
question.
crying 10-year-olds with bicycle helmets on.
That's a good point, JJ. you gotta go for endurance.
Yeah.
A little bit
No
of
one said we
background.
had to kill these people. Lucky, you monster.
Loopholes. JJ, you should be aware.
A little bit of background. We said like, oh, Russ, we have to like go a little bit lighter on the topics just because want to
And Lucky
make
just
sure
wants
that
to
he
murder
enjoys it and
10-year-olds.
comes back. But like, it's not me. It's the question. I don't know what you want me to do. That's how. I mean, I think so. Okay, what if it was like, say it was waves of 5? You get 5 sent to you at a time. How many of those waves do you get through? That's a little harder.
Are they just coming at
Maybe.
you all at once?
Yeah, from like
Probably.
all angles because you're in the middle of
They're
a
as
field.
coordinated as 5 10-year-olds can be. So like 3 of them are running at you, and the other 2 don't really know what's going on.
We haven't even talked about girls. What if they're girls?
Oh, Jesus. I just wake up one morning and I'm just laying in a field with a baseball bat, and then I just hear some kids running at me. I'm gonna be like, "Oh shit!"
Here we go.
Yeah. Batter up. I don't know, man. You guys,
Swing,
again,
brother.
I'm like, this wasn't even my question, but like, dominating it. What are your answers? Give me legitimate answers.
Well, definitely, if it's Call of Duty zombie style, I'm getting the ray gun. I'm
Ray
buying a mystery box every single round, every time I can do it.
I guess.
Absolutely.
What if you could put like barbed wire on the end of your bat or something like that?
Oh,
You could like
upgrades?
upgrade the bat.
Pack a
Yeah.
punch your bat. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking like realistically, I don't even think, like, if you're standing there with a baseball bat, I don't think a 10-year-old really has the cojones to, like, charge you. And so, like, I'm thinking, like, a good, like, 30 of them will pile up before they start getting smart, and then it's done for me. So
No,
I'm
that's
going to
not
go
the
with
question, though.
0 kills, but I'm making it to round 30.
Okay. It's around there with 0 kills. That's pretty funny. I
Cool.
don't know.
All right. I feel like shit for asking that question now.
I think it's such a funny question to ask because, like, I don't know, so many different variables you got to think of.
We need to ask questions like this of our guests when they come on.
We should make our guests answer one of these questions. What are you sipping on,
Jesus.
JJ?
Is that a cider?
Yeah, I've switched over to a cider because it's fall, baby.
All right,
What
we're in it
is
right
it?
now.
What cider is it?
It's this Stella cider.
Oh,
But before that, I
Interesting.
finished off the Lakefront Shifter.
I like the shifter a lot.
Yeah, Shifter's super good.
Beef, what do you have?
I just finished the East Side Dark from Lakefront.
So the east side, he was hyping up the east side a lot, and I love. That was the first like actual dark beer because it's what is it? Is it a?
It's a dark lager.
Dark lager.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good. It's probably my second favorite beer from Lakefront.
First is River West.
First is River West.
River West isn't. I think you get it. You can get it like a lot of places outside of Wisconsin, right?
Yeah,
I was
should
gonna
have
ask
asked
him.
him if they're national because I'd
I was
love
gonna
to
ask
know
him, yeah.
actually.
I'm pretty sure they are. I just don't know like how national. You know.
Well, if it's not available everywhere, then it would be regional, not national. But I don't know.
Whatever. Next time we have him on, we'll ask him that. So
Yeah.
shout out.
Yeah.
When we're drinking beers in the brew house with him, we can ask.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And we can
Hopefully
ask
that's
him how many
sooner
10-year-olds he can
rather
take out.
We're not gonna ask him that.
We should. I bet Russ would answer.
I bet he wouldn't.
See, like, we can't
Russ
lead
is-
with it, but we have to wait till our guests are at least like 2 beers deep, so we have to keep them on a little bit longer,
Yep.
and then just be like, so, how many 10-year-olds can you kill with a metal baseball bat?
Aluminum, yeah. An aluminum bat. I don't know. I think he would play ball. Someday.
That's a good pun.
I think we are going to end it there, though. That's a great spot to end it. Producer Beef, sign off. How is Corona treating you? We needed to get a Corona update. I think people actually thought you were dead.
Yeah, we
just given
definitely
the-
told them in our last
the
episode that you
beefless-
had passed.
The beef, the beefless episode hasn't even dropped at the time of shooting this, but whatever.
That'd be funny. This should be like the Beast Resurrection or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beef's res, and then like
The beef's erection.
Res Beast Erection.
Definitely
Res
beef's
beef's
erection.
Featuring
Hard-
Russ from Lakefront.
Hard beef.
Hard beef. The tainted beef.
The tainted beef. Well, I can't really taste or smell anything still. It's starting to come back. I get like whiffs of stuff, but other than that, feel fine.
Every now and then.
Yeah. Like
Someone found the shit Nick took in your apartment, hey?
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't gotten any
Still-
nasty text messages.
I'm still looking for the shit. I know it's here. I catch whiffs of it.
Yeah.
It might just be my room, but
Maybe the pile of clothes on your bed.
yeah, shut up.
Sign off. What do you got? Anything?
Just want to say thank you again to Russ. He was amazing. That interview was awesome. I'm still, like you said, lucky, kind of starstruck that he even came on. But yeah, that was probably, I mean, definitely one of our best interviews so far, at least.
For sure, and it got ruined by a bunch of killing 10-year-old talk.
Whoa, not killing, naming.
Maiming, whoa. And also
Fending off.
allegedly,
Fending off.
You need to use the word allegedly much more. It will save you some legal trouble down the road. Ask Happy Mama.
Allegedly. Happy Mama, she's got me. Worry about it. All right, JJ, you booked, Russ, and do you have the schedule of what's
I
coming
do. I
up? You've
just
been
pulled it up.
putting in some freaking work. Sign off. What do we got coming up?
Yeah.
Where
So
can people
this
find
episode's
you?
going to drop. Super excited. Once again, thank you, Russ, the beer father, for coming on, talking to us. I'm looking forward to having you on again sometime in the open future. But next week we have the Rambling Alcoholics, a
So excited for
hilarious
that.
podcast. Excited to have them on. I'm not sure if we're going to get everyone or what the scoop is, but still looking for the episode nevertheless. They'll probably stay on and get down and dirty with us in the barguments and the feeling lucky.
The whole episode is going to be, if you thought killing 10-year-olds were bad, allegedly, this is going to get filthy, without a doubt.
And then after that, the week after, we have Mobcraft and MKE Black to talk about Mobcraft's batch of Black is Beautiful. I'm looking
Super
forward to
excited
having
about that.
Henry back on. Super excited about that. And then tentatively a week or two after that, New Barons Brewing. So a lot of good stuff coming up. So stay tuned, guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's super awesome, JJ. I appreciate you putting in work, getting us some awesome guests. Never in a million years did I think we would have the president and co-founder of Lakefront Brewery on. It's super
We have a
cool.
Chester appearance.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
everybody drink. That's
the
one of the drinking game
unofficial
rules.
fourth host.
Uh-huh.
Cheers, bud.
I was gonna say he gets more
Big
love
cider
than I
guy.
do for sure.
Big cider kitty.
Yeah, I don't know. I was saying, Russ, it was so awesome having you. Lakefront is, hopefully we can keep some kind of a relationship with them because they are seriously one of the best breweries around. Not just Wisconsin, all over the place. One of the best craft breweries, and love to spread their word. Other than that, check out, join the Hops News family. They have been amazing. And all of the, I guess, the money that people are paying is going to awesome stuff like buying us this soundboard. We're getting mics. We're getting it's just awesome what they're doing. So join that. We've been doing beer exchanges. I've done so many beer exchanges lately. My fridge has no food and all beer, and it's crazy.
It's not a bad thing, though.
Super nice. No, it's super nice. So you can get all of the lakefront beer that you want if you just join that, and I will send it your way. Yeah, tune into Hoppy Hour. Check out Hops Geeks News. Did you guys happen to tune in to Mash and Hoppy's trivia night that they had on Friday?
I saw bits of it. I wasn't able to stay for long, though.
Go back and watch it. It was really funny, and they represented Hops News well. They came out with a W. Spoiler alert, I guess, but this will be like 3 weeks after they did it. Spoiler alert for you two. But yeah, it was that's super cool. They've got some awesome stuff going on. And yeah, I think that's it. Another awesome episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, I guess, because we are on Apple. But yeah. This will be the last Skype episode for a while.
No,
I'm saying it now. I'm saying it
you're
now.
saying
last
it,
Skype
but
episode.
we have to Skype the Rambling Alcoholics next week. So,
But we'll at least be together. The three of us will be together.
are we going to do it? We can talk about logistics later.
We'll figure it out.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Love you.
This has been a Hops News production. You can find Hops News on all your favorite podcasts and social media platforms at Hops News. Cheers.